Hello? Okay. Alright, Earpers, are we ready? Let's bring out the cast of Wynonna Earp. She's fed up with your patriarchal bullshit land. Apparel. Second threat who wowed us many times in season 2, Dominique Provost-Chalkley. We thought she was a fairy godmother, but she turned out to be a revenant, Tamara Duarte. And the person who has us all screaming Fandris, Still think nobody likes you guys. Okay, so since we are at ClexaCon, I guess my first question is, season 2 was very gay. Emily, you said you can always get gayer, so how is season 3 shaping up?
The straightest show you can think of. I feel like season 3 makes season 2 look like that straight show. Fairly gay. Would you say it's pretty gay?
It's pretty gay. So, I think we're all fans of Way Hot, and you guys... Way Hot ended things in season 2 actually on a pretty good note. So will that sort of, I mean, they went through stuff, but now they're doing good. Does that carry it all into season 3?
Absolutely. I think, man, I'll just say about this. I'm so scared that I'm gonna get fired after this. Yeah, we get to see Way Hot in a really lovely place this season. Can we not? Settled place, which I hope you guys enjoy.
It's really nice to see them kind of just a little bit more comfortable with each other and more of there's like a family vibe about, you know, just hanging out in the Earp homestead, and it's really quite lovely.
Nothing bad happened. Just them sitting on a couch. You're gonna love it.
Now, one of the big Way Hot moments was the alternate universe episode, where you guys kind of established that no matter where or when Way Hot is meant to be. So maybe this is a question for Emily too. Like, why was it so important for you to establish that no matter what, it's always going to be Way Hot?
Because I value my family's safety. You got me. No, I truly believe in the couple. What are they called? Way Hot. Because I really believe that a huge theme of Wynonna Earp is destiny and fate. Like, so much has happened to Wynonna and Waverly and the rest of the gang that feels like the universe is not giving them a choice. But maybe being soulmates, if they're destined to be together, is something that's actually kind of beautiful and they can hold on to when all the other stuff happens. So, thank you.
Now, Tamara, last year at ClexaCon, we got like a preview and we're told that you were going to be on the show. And now a year later, you're back on the panel. So what is it like coming back a year later?
It's bigger and better. It's quite incredible to see like just how many people there are, and like it just keeps on getting like this momentum is huge, and everyone traveling from different parts of the world. So like being here is like super surreal. It's an amazing experience, and like seeing all the fans is amazing. Like actually like interacting with everyone because no one knew who I was last year. So.
No, that was her fault. And speaking of the cons, like over the last year, you guys have gone to like a ton of them and got to interact with the fans. What is like so great about you guys getting to come to these and meet fans and see fans that you recognize, you know, from different cons all the time and keep building that relationship? What's that?
I feel like I know everyone here. Every time I see like, oh hi, how's it going? It's now, you know, got to the point where we start seeing faces again and you feel like you're building up relationships with people, which is kind of really lovely. It feels like, I mean, this fandom is so incredible because it feels very much like a family and it's so inclusive, and I keep saying it, like, I actually think ClexaCon is like my favorite convention, actually. Inclusive vibe, so, yeah, I think it's amazing, and you know, as you go on, you see all these wonderful faces again, thanks for coming back.
So one of the things I think was we're talking about the fans that's really awesome, that your show has like inspired the fans to do so many good things, whether it's like Earping your fandom or like donating for Spirit Day or whatever. So what do you guys think it is about the show that's instilled this in your fans to want to do all this good?
I just think our fans are so good looking and smart that it was terrible. I don't know, it's funny because the show is very much about a made family. Like, you can make your family no matter what you are, and even if the people who are supposed to accept you and love you don't, you can find your people. And I think you can rule with kindness, even in the face of incredible odds. So maybe that's what the fandom has clutched onto. But also, I think just the people involved, I often get emotional talking about my cast, but they are such genuine, warm, loving people who take so much pleasure in connecting. They really believe in the show, and they are so moved that people are watching the show and get the show, and I'm like, I can't believe you guys are getting the show. But me too, I just feel like there's a sense that we can all lift each other up, and we can do great things together with kindness, and that's a strength, not a weakness, which the world needs now more than ever. So there you go. You can still shoot a demon if it gets in your way. Like, that's okay.
So, Kat, have you steered clear of some Britney Spears concerts while you're here? Nicole seemed to have so many problems in Vegas.
No, but I would really like to go to a Pink concert eventually. Yes, I have steered clear. I've never been much of, I was never into Britney, really.
What?
Sorry. Kind of miss Sorry, Dom. I feel
Pretty great. Pink is pretty good.
Well, I guess what was nice about Nicole, though, for real, is that we got to see her outside of just her relationship with Waverly in season 2, and she really showed, you know, it's okay to be ambitious, it was okay to go after things in your career. So why do you think that storyline was so important for Nicole, and like how will we see her still, you know, fighting for that career-wise in season 3?
I think, well, two parts to that. I think it's important for us, especially at this time with what's going on in the media, to see women who are ambitious and not apologizing for it. I think and that balance too, you know, there's always this balance of work and family and having a social life and just trying to keep it all together. So I just really think it's wonderful to have a character that's so career ambitious. And we definitely get to see so much more of Nicole's storyline in this season, which I'm really excited. We definitely get to see a lot more of her backstory and her career development, and it's just been really, I've loved shooting this season so much because it feels like Nicole's really in the Scooby gang this year. So it's a lot of fun times coming up for you guys.
And some of the best scenes in the first 2 seasons were with Nicole and Wynonna, so do we get any more of those this year? More drunk.
Yeah, I love about Wynonna and Nicole, and I love that tension that they like love each other, but also obviously anyone who's dating Wynonna's little sister isn't going to be quite good enough for her. But also Nicole's a cop and Wynonna's a criminal, right? So I sure hope there's not another episode where they get into trouble and then they rely on one another to get through it. That would just be the worst. But there might be. So, they're very good together too, I feel like. Mel and Kat have incredible comic timing, but they don't have the same kind of comic timing, so it really like turns into something kind of incredible.
And tomorrow, Rosita came in, and I think a lot of us were pretty resistant to her. But you and the writers made us love her, and then she betrayed us like so hard. I'm still not over it.
I'm not over it.
But did you have any idea that that's where things were headed for her? And is there like any way she can come back from what she did to Wynonna?
I had no idea. I was reading the script and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, there was a lot of that happening. And what I love about Emily is like, we don't know. We don't know. We have absolutely, I didn't know I was a revenant. There's like, you just find things out as you go, and it's so great because I think that's where the magic happens. Because you're not like looking ahead and you're not, preempting and planning ahead with your acting or whatever. And I think that's where that magic comes in. But what was your other question?
Like, can she ever come back from what she did?
I don't know. Can she?
Yes, of course. But look what Doc Holliday did to her.
I don't think they have condoms yet.
That's bullshit. He's like, oh, I can't use the internet. I don't know what condom is. Like, okay, let's figure it out, right? Tomorrow is 7 months. Doesn't she look incredible? But I definitely think her story is not done, right, Rosita? I mean, like, Wynonna's gonna hunt her down. But don't you feel like Rosita also did what she could to survive?
Would you do that?
God, no, God, no.
We were all kind of mean to you at the end as well, like, you know, like.
You slammed your head, though, remember?
Yeah, well, we learned like more about her past because, I mean, we all thought she was good, but that was basically because she was telling like what she told us. So maybe she wasn't so good after all. I don't know. I'm still hurt.
Revenants too.
Yeah, there's a lot of yeah.
I know.
Which I love that the Revenants actually have such an amazing background, and they're human, and they have this human quality to them, like Bobo and his backstory, and I think that it really creates like a connection, and you just know how to do that so well. Like whether it's a human or not, it's still you can universally connect to it.
They're all part of the same curse, right? They're all kind of forced to do this dance over and over again.
Yeah, but that is what I really love about what you guys do in the writers' room, is that I feel so much empathy towards the bad guys.
And it's not always so black and white. Like,
Yeah.
we've all done stuff that we're not proud of. We've all, made mistakes. Like, this.
We've all put a gunslinger down a well. Pissed us off. We're like, listen. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
And you're right about it being black and white. And it's not black and white. There's so much gray, and even with sexuality, like even for Rosita, there's so much gray, and I think that's what I love about her as well. And like the show in general, it's great.
Did you have any idea about Rosita's like queerness when you got the part?
Sorry.
Did you have any idea about that?
Yeah, I did. I knew she was bisexual. I knew that she went both ways, and I'm like, yeah.
Revenant human.
Yeah, revenant human. She was like in the mix.
All of it.
Give it to me.
I did want to discuss with Waverly and Rosita was they had the storyline where they kissed.
Favorite. Everyone's favorite story.
No, but like, what do you guys do as actors? And then even when Kat, when you found out that Nicole had a wife, what do you guys do? Like, what do you guys do when you get a storyline though like that you know the fans are not going to be happy with?
Oh. Okay, but what do you do for me?
I think you just trust Emily. No, honestly, I'm not even like. No. But I think you have to trust. We have to trust that Emily. I mean, we're seeing the scripts. I've said this before, but like. We're experiencing them in a similar way to what you guys do as you watch the show. We're only getting scripts a couple weeks in advance, sometimes a week before we shoot them.
Sometimes days.
Yeah. And I think you have to know that there is somebody, a whole team of really great people looking out for the bigger picture. You just have to know that it's there for a reason. Yeah.
Really great person. You being so close to the fans as you are, how do you like tell the story that you want to tell and don't worry about that?
I'm close to the fans, but I like torturing the fans. You're like my children, but like the real children, you don't always know what you want. You think you know what you want. But what you want is to feel a lot of things, right? And you want to drink that excuse to drink some whiskey and yell at one another. I certainly am aware of the pressure and the responsibilities and the biggest. This is why I resist Fandris, because I'm like, we're always 10 minutes from a big pyre of Fandris shirts just on fire. It's the whole thing. It's always 7 seconds away. So, I would be lying if I said it wasn't hard, but truly, you just have to do what's best for the show and tell a compelling story, you know what I mean? So I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do.
So one thing I think that's really cool is Sci-Fi as a network seems to really get behind, what you guys want to do as far as telling queer stories.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So whether it's like that or backing Mel's pregnancy, storylines like that, is that unusual to have a network that's that supportive? And like, do you think that that's sort of how things are changing in the future?
I think it's incredibly unusual, and I think both Sci-Fi and Space should be thanked for how incredibly they supportive they are of what we do. And we should thank them now because in a few weeks we're just going to start yelling at them for season 4. So we're going to sneak in with like some cake, and then the cake can open, and we're all going to be yelling. They are incredibly supportive. I don't know yet I feel like it's unusual to be that supportive. I've certainly had resistance to queer storylines my whole life, and on Wynonna I don't feel any of that resistance, which is so freeing. I feel like because there's more TV shows, though, not every TV show has to service everybody, so maybe there's more openness to letting the creator tell one type of story that appeals to one audience versus something that has to appeal to absolutely everybody, like in the 80s or whatever. So, but they have been amazing. Sci-Fi and Space are both incredible, and they're just like, yes, go for it. I can't think of anything that we have attempted that they have said no to, except for expensive stuff, which is fine. But they've been incredible. So.
And Kat and Dom,
I'm just going to yabber on about something, but I just think that's like. It's really hard to hear that that's like unusual. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like so, it's 2018. Like but it's amazing that they are, and we should celebrate that. But it's also.
But that's like this event is so important because this showcases all you people either wandered in off the strip, or you are types of stories. Please make these types of stories, and you all should go out and make these types of stories. It's so important, and why we're here as well, to say, look at these incredible people who support what we do. Can we please just keep telling stories for them? So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Along those lines, Kat and John, you guys have both worked on projects now, Carmilla, Working Moms, that have really good queer rep as well. So did you guys talk at all with the actresses on those shows, like what their experiences have been like, if they've been like similar to the ones you guys have had with this fandom, or do they differ at all?
I remember when I went on to Carmilla, and a lot of fun. For many different reasons. It was like really fun to play an Addie, and
You got to do a British accent for the first time.
but I remember we were all sat like on the floor, like all of the actors in the kind of common area, and we just had this like amazing conversation about representation and like diversity and inclusivity, and it was so exciting. But I just remember looking around, thinking like, the fact that we're talking about this, you know, shows that like as actors, like we want it too. You know what I mean? It was like so exciting, and there was an amazing feeling doing that. You know, it was like virtually all female cast, which is like really rare and so cool to be a part of. And so I think that someone's phone's going off.
You gotta let the cat out. You gotta let the cat out.
But yeah, it's such an exciting feeling to be a part of stuff like that, and I feel like I'm so lucky that I got Wynonna, because I think that that's what led me into Carmilla, to do that as well, and being part of both was just such a lovely gift, you know? It's great.
So one of the things I think is cool about Wynonna is the characters are queer and there's queer storylines, but you guys never actually talk about it in the show or make it like a big thing. So have you guys noticed that since you've been doing more of these times or just having more conversations about that, has it shifted to where, you know, the conversations are more about, they're not really about the characters being queer, but they're just like, what am I trying to say here?
Well, give it up for Bridget. This is your guys'.
I feel like it's like you don't have to talk about how they're queer. Like you can just have conversations about what the characters are doing, and I don't know. Maybe that's just me stating a fact. Yeah. But I think it's just how you guys treat it in the show, where it's not a thing.
I don't want it to not be a thing, though, either, to be clear. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it does define very much who Nicole and Waverly are, but I don't know if anyone here is gay. I don't know if, like, you're just a gay person. You probably have jobs and families and pets and partners and problems and taxes. So I just think, like, you know, I really feel like that's what it used to be like, where when you introduced a gay character, they just had to be gay, and they were like, oh, we're gonna get a sandwich, and they're like, I'm gay. We get it, we know. Not to take away from it, but you really want them to be different gay people, or different bisexual people, or what have you. So, but on the other hand, I want to be careful not to use the labels that are important to people and that I feel that the characters would use for themselves. Like, I definitely think Nicole is a lesbian. It would be like, I'm a lesbian. You know what I mean? I don't know if you feel like that. Yes. This is a shock to you, what I'm saying.
Absolutely, I feel
100%. But it's always felt like that from the beginning. It was never, I remember sitting, not here, but this weekend, last year, and somebody asked something about, were you surprised when you didn't get killed at the end of the season? Or something along those lines, and I was like, no, because I didn't understand why that would have happened at all. So even in a year, like, look at how crazy far we've all come, but no, it was never anything but that for me. Nicole was always a lesbian. Yeah.
shorties, and you're like all, like, you were so set. You were so set on what you wanted. And it was like, that's, you know,
What did you want? A
like,
coffee?
100%. You're not like, you don't, that's who Nicole is, so, yeah.
I can, all I see on this side of the room is a hat.
They cut off my mic. They cut off my mic. We gotta share it.
This gentleman's offering you batteries.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Hello. 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 Switch it out.
So can we talk about season 3 at all, or will I just
My mic's not working. Ready to go?
Fine, okay. Sorry.
Third season.
Mama Earp is back. Yeah. And Megan follows.
What did you watch Anne of Green Gables?
I have seen the Anne of Green Gables light, yes.
Yes, yes.
What did you guys think when you heard that Megan Follows was cast as Mama Earp?
I told this this morning, right? We were we had a little meet and greet this morning, and so my first time that so when you're like going to theater school in Canada, Megan Follows is a really big deal and gets talked about quite a bit, and she does also a lot of theater, so she's kind of revered in the theater community. And so the first time I ever worked with Megan, I've never told her this because I'm way too embarrassed. But I was on Rain, and I played this really, this little servant, like very small servant part with a horrible British accent. Horrible. Cringeworthy. But, and it was with Megan, and it was like 1 a.m. in the morning by the time I finally got to set, because they were so behind. I had been sitting my show for like 5 hours, and I had this corset on that I was overly ambitious, being like, yeah, do it tighter, that's good, yeah. Big mistake. If you ever wear a corset, breathe like in and expand your rib cage when they do it up. That's a good tip. And,
If you wear a corset.
For whatever reason. And I remember getting to set, and they had just slightly, I was like the deliverer of news. So they had, you know, when you have a deliverer of news character,
They went that way.
you know, and you have to get really specific facts right because you know it's important for the story. And they had just slightly tweaked every single line that I had. So I was already panicking, and then Megan's like, again, let's go, again. And I was like trying to run the line with her. I was freaking out, and I couldn't breathe, and it was the most terrifying experience I have ever had, including my first set experience where I had to be naked. It was scarier than that. Yeah. My first experience. But she's so lovely. That was so fun. Yeah. No, she's so lovely.
It's funny though, she's so revered, and she is so amazing, and then it was just so hilarious to have her on the show. And you're like, hey, maybe like a demon is chasing you in the sea. Like, this is such a crazy show that, but she really got into the spirit of it, I think, because we, I hope so. She's so good on it, you guys. Or is she? But her acting is very good.
Can we get any hints as to like how her arrival affects like Waverly specifically?
Right?
It's a big deal for Waverly. It's a huge deal. Waverly was Mama's favorite, I think. You know, I think that's okay.
Well, it's not here.
Like, you know, we've been honest about that. Like, I had not necessarily the best relationship with my dad, and maybe that's because he wasn't my dad or whatever. But like, they had a special bond, so I think that it's like a really, really big deal for Waverly, and it stirs the pot and brings out a lot of emotions. What else can I say? I don't know.
It feels like maybe at the end of season 2, Wynonna knows where Mom is.
Exactly.
But I don't know if Waverly knows where she is.
Yeah.
So.
And
I mean, I know, and you know.
And I know. We know. Yeah.
So like more Earp sisters angst, more Earp sisters issues.
Maybe.
Earp sisters, there was some angst.
Yeah.
Angst is good.
Yeah.
Three sisters, hate mom. Will we like see Waverly keep exploring like what she truly is, and she learned like she wasn't an Earp, but she wasn't a Revenant, so will we keep... Sorry, I feel like you're getting all the hard questions.
I'm getting all the hard questions. Yes. Great answer. Yeah. Well, yeah. Can we say that yes, that storyline continues into season 3, and I'm really glad it did because I really wanted to know what the answers were.
Were you surprised?
Yeah. Okay. In the best possible way. So.
Did you guys want to do some audience questions? I think we're going to...
Yeah, the mic that doesn't
Okay, the mic over here.
Hey guys. Okay, well first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you for having such a huge effect on this entire community. So thank you so much. Secondly, in light of my own personal experiences, I started a mental health nonprofit that's aiming on stopping the stigma surrounding it. So I wanted to ask you guys, you are being who you are, you're at a very high pedestal, and I understand that you're very interactive with fans on social media. So how do you balance fans reaching out to you to tell you about their struggles? How do you balance wanting to help them and also knowing that you're not a professional and that you can't reach everyone?
Good question. Amazing question.
Thank you for starting an initiative. Mental health is so important.
Thank you.
In terms of all the stigmas. Thank you.
I think you just have to trust that what you do as an artist is enough, because that's what I know how to do best. So it's like when someone does reach out, you're right, I'm not a professional. I wouldn't know, like even consoling someone it's a fine balance. So it's just knowing that what I do and what I'm good at is enough, and hopefully it affects people and I don't know.
I do find the balance a little tricky. So at the beginning, like my heart just wants to, comfort and give, and that's like my natural state. It's just to kind of help people, and but you're right. I'm not a professional, and all I have is my own life experience to draw from. And if something in my own life that I feel confident talking about might help somebody, then I think that's wonderful. But I make it very clear that I'm only one person and I have my own stuff, and hopefully at some point that can help. But it is tricky, and thank you for bringing it up because it's an important one. And I always find that when we get letters and people contacting us, like I want everybody to know how much it means so incredibly much to read these stories, and I'm so affected by them, but it doesn't, and just because maybe you don't get a response doesn't mean that it hasn't touched my heart in a very big way, if that makes sense. So, yeah, what do you want to add to that?
I mean, I don't think I said it beautifully. It's difficult. It's very difficult to turn, because we're also, being actors, you have to be a very naturally, emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be the type of person who can easily access your emotions. So for us, as people in general, as type of human, our emotions tend to sit pretty close to the surface, but it's very hard to live in high emotion all the time. So it just becomes, I think you said it really nice, and I'm really going to take what you said actually and think about it, because I think that's use it. Because I think, knowing that what the work that you're doing is helping in a way, I think it's all you can do, but it is difficult. It's difficult to turn it off. like to turn it off, that you're not shutting it down, but you're not getting so sucked into it that you yourself can't get back out, because sometimes I get so sad that I have to pull myself out. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and I don't know if I speak for everyone, but your mental health is your #1 priority, and we support you for that.
All the way from England. It's a bit of a random question. In season 2, I thought the storyline with Black Badge was like ended really like quickly, and like the blood contact.
I'm getting notes. I'm getting script notes.
And like the blood contact thing was just kind of like null void. Was that just
What
like?
makes you think it's null and void?
In season 3.
Black Badge, I think, are wily and tricky and always have their eyes on the prize. And I would say they do come back in a very unexpected way, a way that's very personal. Ooh. Thank you, Hannah.
I'm a major Buffy fan, and Emily, you said that you took some lessons from that. You already mentioned Scooby Gang and like the family that you create. I was just wondering what's the biggest.
CEO from the West. CEO from the West.
Hold on. Which is why I love the show so much. I've been telling everyone, it's like the next Buffy. What's Wynonna? So, but what is the biggest lesson you've learned? And if the rest have seen Buffy, have you learned any lessons from Buffy yourself? This show, not necessarily the character, by the way.
From Buffy?
Yeah.
I can't do a musical episode. I think Buffy, for me, was such an incredible heroine because I love the idea. She really wrapped up to me, like, particularly the way we judge women and how we think they're going to be because their name is Buffy and they're a cheerleader and they look like Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then they have so much inner strength and that there's power in the way people perceive you versus what you really are, if that makes sense. Like, she was such an unlikely hero. The one thing that's interesting about Buffy, I think, that is challenging versus Wynonna is so much of Buffy's journey worked because she was in high school. So she was younger and she kind of like had to go to school every day with the demons and what have you. Whereas I feel like Wynonna is a slightly more grown-up show, just given the cast we have and whatnot. But God, Buffy still is so good. It's just so good. And also, like, nobody cared if you could see a zipper up the back of the lizard guy's costume. Because you cared so much about the characters. So more than anything, I'm like, if you love the characters, hopefully you guys will forgive me when, like, the prosthetic falls off someone's face. Thank you.
Thank you.
But have you met Dom? She can sing really good. No, I heard you. No, you can sing.
Sing right now.
I have 2 sisters who can, so I've always felt like I can't.
This is the chance to show up.
I got a question. There was a big emphasis on Twitter if Wayhawk was going to go on a date. And after watching the Lost Tour panel, is it brunch?
Oh. Stage of their life. To like move to stop brunching for 5 minutes.
Keep on brunching, we will be back.
Okay.
But like speaking of way hot brunch, that's like something that is a problem with queer character, like queer couples is. Huh?
Like, what the hell is happening?
It's brunch and time for sex. Yeah, that's my question is, like, on a lot of schools with queer couples, there's a trope that, like, once they do have the lovemaking or whatever, it's not well lit, but you guys, way hot.
You're gonna see this if you want to or
There's like
not.
when queer characters get together and have a love scene that it's like not well lit or you don't see much of it, and the way hot scene we saw a lot. So like was that like were you aware of that trope, Emily? And like was that
But I'm aware also that like to be completely honest, like 10 p.m. cable is just going to be different than 8 p.m. CW or network, right? No, I'm just saying it is, right? Where you can do stuff anyway. So yes, I think network television is still catching up across the board, all about everything, right? So we're very lucky that we're on 10 p.m. cable and sci-fi, honestly.
You can get naked.
Because you can
you can have well-lit brunch?
Hi there.
Hi.
No question. Really. Firstly, just thank you so much for making Wynonna just amazing. So much love for y'all. My question is about there's a lot, Native American culture is really represented in Western genre. So I was just wondering if you were thinking of bringing any First Nations representation to season 3 or in the future. How important to you?
Great question. There's obviously I would say First Nations representation of Westerns has been pretty mixed in the past. But honestly, there's a huge First Nations history in Alberta. I grew up in Alberta. It's incredible. We have certainly had some First Nations actors on the show, many of them, and we audition people all the time. There's an incredible First Nations community of actors in Calgary. Like so many things, I would want to be really careful and really talk to people and do the research and make sure I was being respectful if we were doing some First Nations storylines or demons. But yeah, there's and the other truth about First Nations history that I've kind of figured out is it's obviously very geographical. The Wendigo might not be part of where we say purgatory is located. So I just want to be careful about that stuff. But we have some good First Nations actors this year as well on the show. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am a women's self-defense instructor.
You want to fight us all right now, right here.
So every class that we put on, we have survivors. That's pretty unavoidable when you live in a society where between 1 in 3 and 1 in 6 women are sexually assaulted throughout their lifetime. So you look at the number of women in this room, you look at the women on this panel. But I thought first season it was really significant to see Wynonna and some of the PTSD-like symptoms that she had. So I know there are so many women every day who struggle with that. And even Tucker this last season, for me, was the most frightening thing because he is so real and normalized and common. So I was wondering if you could maybe talk on those subjects a little bit and why it was important to include them in the story.
Question, thank you. I also thought Tucker was terrifying. I thought he really represented a certain genre of entitlement that we see a lot in society that is kind of excused as boys being boys. I really appreciate you picking up on Wynonna's PTSD, but the other flip side for me, just personally, is I don't ever want to do a rape storyline. I'm just not that interested. I'm not. So for me personally, I don't think I need that to motivate my heroines, so you will never see it from me.
I just think that Tucker was the worst baddie on the show. No matter all of the other demons and things, they're terrifying, but like you say, it's just so real, and I think a lot of people yeah, reacted to that, definitely.
I wanted to know more about Lucida's character since where it ended. It was like she got shot, the peacemaker glowed blue. I wanted to know if she's going to come back and she's going to be with Chuck. With Chuck.
With child?
Exactly.
Damn.
I thought you said with Tucker. And I was like,
He dead. He dead. Does anybody like Danny fucking Gang? Well, too bad. She may or may not be on the show next week. Watch Working Moms. It's very good. You'll have to wait and see.
I swear I didn't plant that question.
Yeah, okay. I can't tell you.
Do you guys have any news about season 2, like coming to Netflix or anything like that?
I sort of do, but I don't know if I'm allowed to tell. But you guys won't tell anyone, right? I think it will be soon. Like truly soon. Like I swear to God soon, like in the spring. I don't have a specific date, but I will try to find out. Hopefully soon, and please watch it, and tell everyone to watch it. Okay, thank you. Honestly, no, I don't.
Hi guys, my question is, how do you guys feel about the fact that you have such an incredible fandom that is making all these different conventions specifically for this show? Kind of a one-sided question, not gonna lie. But yeah, what are your feelings about it? I know how we feel kind of putting it together and watching the outcome of how everyone else is doing about it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
still can't get over it, to be completely honest with you. Like, they're popping up all over the place. And, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy to think that, I mean, we were just here a year ago. It's so much has happened in a year as far as this convention coming up, and this fan base, it's still so young, you know, so to see so much movement and dedication, it's just, there's something so special about the show that it just makes people want to do these really hard things to celebrate, you know, because running a convention is not easy, as you know, and it's a huge undertaking, and I just feel so incredibly grateful to be part of. I feel like it's a once in a blue moon, but great phrase, huh? A blue moon, but it's very special and just unreal. Can't get over it. Grateful.
I can't believe it. I just hope you all don't get sick of us. I try to stay mysterious on Twitter, so you it's beyond my wildest dreams. In a billion, trillion years, I never, ever thought we would have Wynonna Earp. It's unbelievable. We'll come anywhere. Just okay, North Carolina, when? Come pick us up. Let's be at the airport. No, thank you so much, too. Can't wait to go.
Thank you. We look forward to having you guys there.
What? That's Homestead Day. And when is it? August 10th, 11th, and 12th in Canada.
First, I want to say pat down your thrift store outfits look amazing. This is directed toward Emily. Do you have any plans on writing characters with disabilities?
I would love to. I would love to write a differently abled character. You know what is? I don't know. Yes, I would love to. There's a million different types of characters. I would love to have a non-binary character. I'd love to have a character who's trans. I talked about that. I'd love to have a differently abled character. The challenge only for me is that we are kind of an underdog. We have a small cast, so when I bring on characters, I just have to make sure they can do a lot. And a lot of the new characters we introduce every year are villains. So I'm still wrestling with diversity versus villainry, even though the villains are sometimes the most interesting parts. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I'm willing to do it all. I feel like with all those types of characters I listed, I would want to get some advice and help from the communities involved. And also the other challenge is just we have to cast Canadian. We get to cast Canadian. But yes, of course. If you get me 10 seasons, I'll do it all. Okay? How about that?
Well, like speaking of that, since season 3 is going to start soon, what can the fans do to get season 4?
Just everything. Just tweet at sci-fi, find people who work at sci-fi who are important. Oh, what Jerry, where are you going? There's a PR person, she's leaving. Honestly, the hashtag is huge. Like, tweet with us, everything. The Urbicons are huge. Just visibility on social media is enormous. But like, you can't beat watching the show when it's on. That's probably the biggest thing. If you can watch it on Sci-Fi in Space live, that's still the biggest factor for us, to be honest. So thank you. But we're here because of you guys, remember that. So we can do it again, right? Yeah.
One last question.
I get to be the last one. You mentioned earlier that Nicole would identify as a lesbian and Rosita identified as bisexual, but how would Waverly identify?
I said this earlier in my meet and greet, which is that, like, Emily writes the characters, the writer's room writes the characters. So you come with your take on everything, and you make up a bunch of, like, your own kind of backstory and facts and all these kind of fill in the blanks. However, like, it frustrates me when actors are like, oh, I wouldn't say that. Well, you're like, well, you would, because it's written on the page, because they write the characters, right? So I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think that in season 3, Waverly would identify as bisexual. But I also think, But I also think that isn't really what she's thinking about right now, because she's like so in love with Nicole, and that is the primary. But I think that she is open-minded enough as a young female. Like, actually, maybe she wouldn't even put herself in a category, because I think that these categories, that like these boxes, we don't all fit into them, and I see it very much as a spectrum, and she falls somewhere along that spectrum, and I don't know whether, she would even think about it too much. She's figuring it out. Yeah, exactly. And who you meet, and, where it takes you, so, yeah. But I guess if we have to call, I'll put it in a box, maybe she would say bisexual. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we ran out of time, but thank you guys all so much for coming. Thank you guys.